Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Helps if you turn the mic on. Let's see, how long did that take? About a minute. Okay. So let's recap. This is GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim, and we're off to a grinding halt. This is GainerWorld Live. If you're new to our little soiree, if you're expecting entertainment, fun, comedy, music, you might find it here on a good night. Hard to say. But yeah. This is what we do. We come in every Friday night about this time, and we just kind of talk amongst ourselves. We chat a little bit in the chat room thing right there. Now, you ain't got to worry about over there. No, we bring that over here. That's because that's how we roll. You can come in and talk to us in the chat. You can, if you're watching the replay by some chance, always leave a comment down below. We will answer you. We will answer you. Don't know when, don't know where, but anyway, yeah, okay, already. Yeah, I was wondering if it was just me if the sound was off again. Yeah, it was. The sound was off. What can I tell you? Our occasional guest co-host, Chris King, checking out all the technical stuff because he's a technical kind of guy. Technically. But at any rate, Hope that you're doing all right. Hope it's been kind of a weird week, kind of a long week for everybody. First, yeah. Chris asking very bluntly, and you won awards? Hey, if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your bullshit. That's right. I said bullshit on YouTube. That's how cutting edge we are here. But anyway, it's been a long week, and we certainly do appreciate the fact that you've come along and you're joining along with us. One thing that I do have to tell you, though, I'm going to have to kind of break out of here a minute or two early because I'm doing double duty tonight. If you head over to Hugs 24/7 Radio, later on, hugsatwrgg.com, the home of the unsigned independent artist. I am going to be filling in for Cyrus Gray tonight, doing the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, and we're going to have ourselves a lot of fun. So join us. If you like great music, if you love great music, you're going to catch the top 10 unsigned independent artists in the world in one solid hour. I strongly recommend it. The Hugs Top 10 Countdown coming up right after this show at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hugs at WRGG.com, HUGSATWRGG.com, the Hugs Top 10 Countdown. Hope to see yous there because we're going to have a lot of fun. And yes, I said duty, Chris. I did, proudly. And I'll say it again, too. Watch this. Duty. Fight me on it. Been a long week. Been kind of a strange week. And of course, we would be remiss in our duty if we didn't start the show the way we unfortunately have to start every week, because it's not been a good one. Let's check the Deadpool report. Let's just get into it, shall we? You may not recognize this face, but you certainly will recognize the characters that he played. And you will truly recognize the fact that he is one of the modern genius character players in the late 20th, early 21st centuries. Actor Paul Grant. He passed away on Tuesday. He collapsed suddenly at a train station. This is according to the Daily Caller. If you don't know his face, maybe this will help you. Yeah, he had an amazing body of work as a character actor. Among them, he, of course, played Ewok, the main Ewok in Star Wars. He played, you might remember him from playing this part as a goblin in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But sadly, he passed away he collapsed at a King's Cross train station in London. This is according to Fox News. Police found Grant's body, according to the London Sunday Sun. He was rushed to a nearby hospital. He was pronounced brain dead, according to a report, and the family decided to remove him from life support a couple of days later. His daughter, Sophie J. Grant, spoke out about his death in a statement to Fox News. She said simply, "My dad was a legend. Bless him. Everyone loved him. He would do anything for anyone. He was a massive Arsenal fan. And, Dad, I love you so much. Sleep tight." Just the stuff that he did, if you're a fan of those kind of movies, he played, in Labyrinth. Yeah, he was not only a member of the Goblin Corps, but he was a stunt double for Hoggle in that. He played the Ewok in Return of the Jedi. He was a goblin in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. He was in Legend. He was in Willow. It's a real sad loss to the film community. So it's really it's a shame. It's a shame. Paul Grant gone at the age of 56. Just a sad thing. Chris is chiming in on the in the chat here. Here's a news story. A Florida man named Richard was found on a beach today, alive, he claims, after he was swallowed by a whale. Oh, man. Here we go. When asked how he escaped, he said, "I thought things were grim, and I just started running around, and I kept running until I was all pooped out." They do say it's the company you keep. So I've heard. Also gone this week, unfortunately, a couple of months ago, we reported to you about the death of Nick Turner of Hawkwind, who passed away at the age of 82. We are down to our last surviving member of Hawkwind. Unfortunately, guitarist Mick Slattery has passed away at the age of 77. He was one of the founding members of Hawkwind. He passed away peacefully at home on St. Patrick's Day following a short illness. His bandmate Dave Brock, who now is the only surviving member of Hawkwind left, let that sink in for a minute. He announced his death the next day on a Facebook post, telling fans, and this is a quote, "We're sorry to share the sad news that our old friend and Hawkwind founding member, Mick Slattery, passed away peacefully at home yesterday, age 77, after a short illness." He didn't share any further details, but so we're not sure how he passed away. But in the post, Brock went on to reflect of their time in Hawkwind. He talked about, "Me and Mick played together in a band called The Famous Cure in 1967, touring Holland before going on to form Hawkwind in 1969. Had lots of fond memories of our younger days playing together in Holland, hanging out at Richmond and Eel Pie Island. The late 60s, we used to rehearse in my upstairs flat in Putney, and also in the basement of Bob Kerr's music shop in Gwaller Road, playing loud music much to the annoyance of the neighbors. Fly free, old friend." So if you're a fan of experimental prog rock, I guess you could say, Hawkwind were at the forefront. They were up there with the likes of Pink Floyd and Tangerine Dream and others that what many of the younger players today would consider just noise and plonky sounds. But if it wasn't for those noise and plonky sounds, we wouldn't have half the technology that we do have today. And Hawkwind was at the forefront of that. And Mick Slattery was at the forefront of that. So, yeah. So, hail and farewell to Mick Slattery of Hawkwind, who, again, gone but not forgotten. Chris didn't mention Lance Reddick, and yes, you're right. That was about, 10 days, 2 weeks ago. But this one we just found out yesterday, and this one kind of hurts. This one kind of hits close to home for a lot of people. Clarence Fuzzy Haskins. You may not know that name, but you know the bands that he was in. That's right, not band, but bands. He was one of the founding members of Parliament Funkadelic, and also had a later solo career of his own. According to OK Player, he has died as of yesterday at the age of 81. Wow, what do you say about? I tell you what. Anybody who's into hip hop these days, or house, or later soul, this band was it. This band was it. Just as funky as you can get, or as one of the other founding members, George Clinton, used to say, they were sloppy with the funk. And in fact, of course, George Clinton and their former bass player, Bootsy Collins, shared on social media. Bootsy went out to say, prayers going out to Clarence Haskins and his family and friends. We lost his frequency today. He was an original Parliament Funkadelic. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which he was, rightly so. We'll miss you, my friend, bandmate, and soul brother. Thanks for your guidance in my pup years, Bootsy Baba. George Clinton went on to say, we're saddened to announce the passing of an original Parliament Funkadelic member, Eugene Fuzzy Haskins. You know, look, you can say whatever you want, but sincerely, any of the newer, if there wasn't rap without the funk. There's not hip-hop without the funk. And I'm here to tell you, Parliament Funkadelic was the funk. I love this band. I really did love this band. God, the amount of hits that they had, that really kind of defies any description when they came on the radio in the 70s. I mean, think Flashlight, Give Up the Funk, One Nation Under a Groove, of course, I lean back to mine, and I know because Chris is online, he's thinking about it too, that incredibly bombastic, chaotic, melodic, beautiful 11-minute piece of work from their first album, Maggot Brain. One of the... I put it up there with Pink Floyd. I put it up there with Pink Floyd's, Such a Controls for the Heart of the Sun, or, Astronomy Domain. It was that good. And a true story, and I know Chris is online, and I'm going to catch flack for this. Parliament Funkadelic played Comiskey Park, the old home of the Chicago White Sox, in 1977. And I had a chance to go see this show. And I turned it down. This was the first year that the mothership landed. Now, if you're Funkadelic, if you're a Parliament fan, you understand what I just said. And I know even you're screaming at your monitor going, how did you pass this up? Nobody knew at the time. But apparently, during the show, this gigantic flying saucer comes out from over center field and starts landing on the band. It was one of the most incredible. This predates Pink Floyd by about 6 months to a year. Okay. Chris is saying, I'm not going to give you issues. You know what mistake you made. Oh, you better believe it, bro. You better believe it. I hurt for it every time I think about it. But, yeah, I mean, and even Chris is coming up with just such great tracks that they did. Not just Knee Deep. Atomic Dog was so good. Up on the Downstroke. Oh, these guys, oh. And now, Star Child, I will not dance. Just an amazing band. But yeah, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But yeah, just an amazing. Funky Worms, Sir Noise, devoid of the funk. Yes, indeed. There will never be another band like them, and there'll never be another guy like this. Clarence Fuzzy Haskins, Parliament Funkadelic, gone at the age of 77. It just ain't right. It's been a heck of a week. Let's get out of here. Yeah, Sir Nose. That's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah. No, Star Child, I will not dance. Love that band. Just love that band. They were terrific. I got to admit. So, Dr. Funkenstein. Yes. Oh, man, don't get me started. And yes, you're right. I do live with that. I do live with that. I remember, and she, as a matter of fact, it was the landlord of one of the first apartments I ever that I ever lived in. And she was a huge funk fan. Yeah, she was all into it. And she asked me, she said, I got extra tickets to go see them, Comiskey Park. You want to go? I'm like, it's going to be hot. Probably going to be way up in the bleacher. Nah, you go on ahead. You go have fun. Came back the next day. How was the show? A spaceship. That's all she could say. A spaceship. So, yeah, I missed it. And it was hot indeed. Did you, Chris, please don't tell me you went to that show. Please don't tell me you went to see Parliament. Seriously, did you go see Funkadelic at Comiskey Park? Because if you did, man, oh my God. I was too young. Okay, thank you. I was gonna say. Yeah. One thing that I will talk about. one thing that I will talk about, we have an update on one particular story that I didn't see the note, but I did see them at Taste of Chicago. Oh, wow. I heard that was a great show, too. I heard that was, it was kind of restricted. I mean, I know they were main stage, but even then, I heard that the backstage and the whole area was kind of restricted, so they really couldn't really bust loose. Of course, then again, when you've got 12 people in a band, you know, they're set up for, you know, Bozo and Frank Sinatra. And here comes Bootsy Collins and George Clinton bringing their, you know, like busloads of, you know, what was that? That's the band. There was like 80 people on stage, and the mothership did come down. Oh, come on, man. Seriously? Regrets? I've had a few. Anyway, one other thing I do want to update a story that we talked about a couple of months ago, and that was about the charges that came up against Justin Roiland. Justin, you may remember from a couple of months ago, had domestic violence charges come up against him, and it was not pretty. It just was not pretty at all. I mean, it got to the point. If you don't know who Justin Roiland is, you should, because he's a very, very creative human being. He's the guy that he was co-creator and one of the actors on Rick and Morty. He's that guy. And it's like, yeah, everybody kind of like, when these charges came up, they kind of turned against him. You know, they announced that he'd been dropped from their companies, you know, like Hulu and Adult Swim, and they just kind of let him go. But now we come to find out from OK Player that the charges have been dropped. Justin wrote a note on social media, and all he said was, "I've always known that these claims were false. I never had any doubt that this day would come. I'm thankful that this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm still deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process." Which I can kind of understand. Most of all, he continued, "I'm disappointed that so many people were so quick to judge without knowing the facts, based solely on the word of an embittered ex trying to bypass due process and have me canceled. That it may have succeeded even partially is shameful. However, now that the legal case is ended, I'm determined to move forward and focus both on my creative projects and restore my good name." This is all in connection to, if you're unfamiliar with the story, what happened was back in 2020, an unidentified woman in Stockton, California, had been charged with a count of domestic battery with corporal injury and one count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, or deceit. That is to say that this woman, who was not identified, charged him with these things. The news of the charges became public earlier this year, and that's when Adult Swim announced that they had ended its association with Justin. And it was also reported that Rick and Morty would continue despite Justin being the voice of the characters for all 6 seasons. Hulu, who I guess was their main provider, also ended their ties with Justin. They ended his involvement with the show Solar Opposites that he co-created in Koala Man, on which he was an executive producer. And Chris is saying it, and I'm inclined to believe it. because Chris was a fan. He said, there's like, in the beginning, he's like, no, these aren't true. These aren't true. And even in the chat, he's saying, that right there, stop judging and canceling people. Yeah, it's, it is getting a little weird out there. I'll openly admit it. We're getting to the point where people have become so overly sensitive that all you have to do is say boo. And the next thing you know, you're either in front of a judge or you've been characterized and ostracized by half of society. And it's really sad. It's really sad that we've gotten to this point. Maybe I'm just too old fashioned. Maybe I've got too big of a heart. But people have become so overly sensitive, and people have become so overly desensitized at the same time. For whatever reason, too much social media, propaganda, whatever the case may be. People are now just at the point where all you've got to say is boo the wrong way. And people are all up in arms, and they're throwing furniture, and they're calling you names. I saw a clip right before we went on the air. There was a school board meeting. Parents, kids, about, this big thing. And I don't want to get political, but the subject of it was CRT, critical race theory. And I guess one young lad of about 10 decided to speak his mind. And this didn't sit well with one of the parents that was also at that school board meeting. And long story short, this father just got right up in this kid's face. I mean, he was ready to, throw hands with this child about his opinion on things. It's gotten that bad. It really has gotten that bad. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Like I said, maybe I'm just too sensitive. Maybe I've just got too big of a heart. Maybe I still, hey, the hippie's still here. Okay? Still believe in peace and love. Still believe that those aren't just concepts. That's a very viable thing. And when I read about stuff like this, it just... I said this I said this once upon a time in one of my shows. To all the old hippies. And we read today that some of the old hippies, a lot of the old hippies are dying off. But to the ones that remained, I simply posed the question. What happened? Where did we go wrong? What happened to that beautiful utopian future that we held so dear? Money? Coke? Power? Those are some pretty serious poisons. But I still believe in them. I don't care what you tell me. I still believe that it's true. Noreen Henry has popped in to say hello in the chat. Hello, Noreen. How are you? Always good to see you. She said most people don't believe in peace and love anymore. Like I said, I do. And like Elvis Costello once said, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Chris says, just destroys your faith in humanity, don't it? Doesn't destroy my faith. Sure do question the hell out of it, though. And I really do believe that there's the possibility that We can still turn this around. But the remaining elders of the tribes, it's up to you. It always was. And to the millennials today that don't get it, all I can say is, I'm sorry. We tried. We'll be right back.
I'm Nick Mason of Pink Floyd, and March 2023 marks the 50th anniversary since the release of our album, The Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd has had a history of collaborating with up-and-coming filmmakers since our early days. In many cases, the visuals that accompany the songs have become synonymous with the music itself. Which is why we would like to invite animators of all styles to enter a competition to create a music video for any song on the album. The band would like to give an opportunity to all, students or established animators, a chance to innovate and present a fresh visual interpretation to the music on the album. There are prizes for the best works, and there's a deadline for submission by the end of November 2023. The competition will be judged by a renowned panel from the worlds of film, animation, and music. And we look forward to seeing your submissions and celebrating with us 50 years of Dark Side of the Moon. Good luck. And by the way, to enter your film, please read the terms and conditions carefully, or your submission will not be accepted.
Don't delay. Time is running out on that. If you are a content creator, if you are a videographer, graphic artist, whatever the case may be, go to pinkfloyd.com/competition. They're going to be, they're going to be closing out that registration part very soon, from what I understand. And yeah, just think you could be, speaking of old hippies, you could be working with David Gilmour and Nick Mason, which I think is pretty cool. This is the thing I wanted to do. This earlier, I was going for this. I know it didn't show, but yeah, okay. The old hippie's still around. I don't care what you tell me. You have no idea how that cheeses people off these days. I've had so many people. Why are you growing your hair? What's wrong with you? What are you, some kind of old hippie or something? Yes, I am. And I'm damn proud of it. Some things I keep with me. Some things I use to formulate being the elder that I am. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, the phone lines are open, by the way, if you want to speak. In case you haven't noticed. So yeah, here's something that I read today that I'm having a hard time with. Okay, we talk about things changing, but things remaining the same, and we think about, Chris is gasping at my long hair. Come on, man. It ain't all that bad. Come on. When did you learn to read? What do you mean, when did I learn to read? Never mind that. When did you learn to spell? I noticed you. It's been a whole 35 minutes. You haven't made a single mistake. Proud of you, son. You can get the participation trophy too. Anyway, I ain't got no book learnings. That's right. I don't need to spell any no books. Or as Wilford Brimble would say in A Hard Day's Night, a blading book. So, you think back to certain things that really made you happy in your lifetime. You really think about certain events and even TV shows. Even TV shows. Like, for example, one of the favorite shows that Don Edwards from Homegrown Notes has popped in to say, "Hey, Don, how are you, man? I just got tuned in to get my trophy." That's right. Everybody gets a trophy, and you get a trophy, and you get a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. Remember back in the days, one of our favorite shows growing up, or maybe just as you were growing up, or whatever the case may be, one of your favorite shows was Boy Meets World. Yes, it was. The lovable misadventures of Corey Matthews and his girlfriend Topanga. Lord, how we loved Topanga. Well, according to the folks at WLS TV here in Chicago, BBC 7 News, yes, she was. Chris is just right. She was so fine. Yes, many of us have fond memories of Topanga. Well, it seems that you remember Boy Meets World. So how do you feel about Boy Meets Congress? Yes, it's true. Ben Savage is going to be running for Congress. The United States California's Congress. California's 30th Congressional District, to be exact, against Representative Adam Schiff. This was announced on Monday, according to ABC. Ben said, and I quote, "I'm running for Congress because it's time to restore faith in government by offering reasonable, innovative, and compassionate solutions to our country's most pressing issues." He said this in an Instagram post. "And now it's time for new and passionate leaders who can help move our country forward, leaders who want to see the government operating at maximum capacity, unhindered by political divisions and special interests." Corey. Should we start with all the jokes now? Should we start with the joke? Go ahead. Just let loose with the jokes in the chat or down below in the comments. I'm open to them. Chris saying, "Hey, if Reagan can do it." Yep. And if Jesse Ventura can do it. Would that mean... And Arnold, that's right, Arnold. Get to the chopper. Ah! Would this make Topanga First Lady? I'm just saying. Did he talk to Mr. Feeney about this? I don't think he did. Because you know Feeney would have talked him out of it. You know he would have talked him out of it. Ben, moving on with the story, has described himself as a proud Californian union member. Yeah, Duh. AFTRA, SAG. Hello, Ben. Like we don't know that. And resident of District 30 who comes from a family of unwavering service to our country and our community. Okay. Is Sean going to be your deputy mayor and deputy rep? I'm just asking. I need to know these things. Okay. I really do need to know these things. He's running for Representative Adam Schiff's seat. Schiff is now running to succeed Dianne Feinstein, she's retiring at the end of her term. Ben submitted paperwork in January with the Federal Election Commission to run as a Democrat, which of course encompasses West Hollywood, Burbank, and parts of Pasadena. Go figure. Chris is saying she did have the DUI. So, First Lady, maybe? Who knows? You don't know. Will she take time away from that podcast she's doing now? I need to know these things. These are things I really do need to know about. A representative for Savage told ABC News in a statement at the time, despite the filing, that he's focused on his upcoming wedding. Hello? Corey's getting married? What is this all about? Alrighty then. He's still making decisions and looking for opportunities to give back and serve the community. Yeah, I guess earlier in January, I guess I missed this. He announced that he's engaged to Tessa Angermeyer. Topanga, are you aware of this? Did you know this was happening? Did Sean tell you about this? This isn't Savage's first campaign to hold office, by the way. He ran unsuccessfully to be on the West Hollywood City Council in the 2022 election, focusing on community safety, housing, and homelessness, according to his website. Chris is saying her husband won't like you talking about her like that. Hey, listen. I just want to make sure that everything's okay. All right? I want to make sure that he talked to Feeney about this and that he got his blessing. Feeney, do you think Feeney will be his chief advisor? What do you think? And what about his girl? The one that Corey and Topanga had? What was her name in Girl Meets World? Which was another great show, by the way. I missed that show very much. Apparently he's had a long interest in politics, according to ABC. Having studied political science at Stanford University, he graduated in 2004. He also interned for Senator Arlen Specter in 2003. So we'll be able to find out more about that in the general election on November 3rd. So there you have it. Boy meets world. Girl meets world. Boy meets Congress. What do you think? Are you thinking that this is something that we really should be keeping an eye on? Let me know here. Let me know in the comments down below. What's your thoughts on this? Ben Savage. And Chris put it best. We had Ron Reagan. We had Jesse Ventura. If you don't know, Jesse the Body Ventura, governor of Minnesota. We had Arnold. Arnold was governor, the governator. Seika ran for, what was it? I think she ran for office, didn't she? Legitimately. I do mean legitimately. I do remember somewhere, or she ran for office. I think she ran for city council of Chicago or something like that, or mayorship or something. Just something really off the wall. But yeah, what's this all about? Again, it's getting to that point where people are just kind of like, But then again, you have to stop and think that he couldn't even make it to the city council. Now he wants to be congressman. Listen, Ben, you start small and you work your way up. Okay? You lost small. That doesn't mean that you leapfrog into the big time. Okay? Didn't work for Chachi. It's not going to work for you. Okay? We all know what Chachi's about these days. Is it looking like it's that way that these days, if you're in TV or you're in movies, some people are thinking the next legitimate step is politics? Are we all doing this Citizen Kane thing now? I mean, stop and think about it. In a logical world, okay? I was in radio for 10 years. I was on the road for 20 years. Been doing this for about 3-4 years. Maybe I should go into politics. That's it. I'll go for governor of the universe. What do you think? No. You want to change the world? Keep entertaining folks. That's what I think anyway. The world is crazy enough, as we talked about a little bit earlier, with politics and wars and all this other crazy stuff that's going on. And if I can just get people to just forget about stuff for like an hour, or maybe 90 minutes if I'm playing out, I feel I've done my job. But hey, that's just me. Like, for example, in a few minutes, we're going to get out of here early so I can go do radio. Hugs 24/7 radio, 9 o'clock Eastern. Please turn it on. HUGSATWRGG.com. The Hugs Top 10 Countdown will be on. I will be on that show, filling in for Cyrus Gray, and we are going to have ourselves a wonderful time. Not to mention the fact that we're going to be playing some terrific unsigned independent music. So that's what's going on with that. And yeah, how does that feel? This is all the things that we had to talk about this week. This was all of it right here. So now we get to fill 10 minutes. And it's kind of reminding me of what band did that? Straubs. I remember the great English progressive rock band Straubs. One night, they came out on stage, and they brought bar stools with them. And this is a true story. They came out and they said, you guys have been watching us every night perform and sing and play. We thought tonight we'd watch you. And they sat on the bar stools and they just check that guy out there. It's pretty good. And they did this for about 10 minutes. I mean, so you can imagine after about 5, the entire crowd is going,
what the f***?
Yeah. And then after about 10 minutes of this, the keyboard player went, I'm a little bored. You guys want to play? And they said, yeah, and they went out and they did the concert. So, yeah. Maybe I should do that. I'll just watch you. Oh, wait, Tim, you can't do that. You can't see us through the monitor, can you? You don't know that. See, even Chris saying you don't want to do that. No. You'll regret. Just be prepared. I'm kidding. People are watching the replay of this going, I hate, oh God. It's all make-believe, kids. Really is all make-believe. Tell you what, before we go, let's do this, shall we? We haven't done this in a while. And we've got time before we have to get out of here. Haven't done this in a little bit. There we go. All right. Yeah, let's do one that I enjoy playing most of all. That I haven't done in a couple, well, I've done it before, but shut up and play, Tim. Come on back, baby, dear, I'm dying. Let me show you how. Come back, baby, don't you hear me crying? Let me show you now. Broken hearted and I'm sinking fast. When I first got started, I was sure we was gonna last. But the good times got to roll until they roll right past. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Woke up this morning with the blues all around, brighten up my sky. Day from the dawn, but the day come and save me, and it caught my eye. You made me special and you made me crawl. Around your heart you built a stone cold wall. Till you got to loving, girl, and then you love them all. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Come on back, baby, can't you hear me crying that I need you now? Come back, baby, dear, I'm dying. Let me show you how. Looking haunted and I'm sinking fast. When I first got started, I was sure we was gonna last. Till the good times got to roll until they roll right past. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Whoa, yeah. there you have it. What we have not done in a long time. But then again, we do almost all the time. Why? Because I like that song. And it's my show. Anyway, oh, here we go. I think I'm experiencing deja vu. That's the feeling I've never heard your bull before. Cute. Why can't T-Rexes clap their hands? I give up, Chris. Why can't T-Rexes clap their hands? We're waiting for Chris's response. They're extinct. Okay. It's like the joke I heard the other day. As kind of sick as it is. Why doesn't Michael Jackson play chess? 'Cause he's dead. Well, Noreen liked it. And after all, at the end of the day, isn't that what counts? So, yeah. Any old who. Yeah, we're, so now it's come to this. I told you, if you're looking for comedy, if you're new and you're looking for comedy, that was it. But at any rate, yeah, again, I wanted to remind you, because we're kind of getting down to crunch time here, and I am going to be two windmills talking. We're talking. One asks, "What kind of music do you like?" You can tell Chris is doing this on his phone. The other says, "I'm a big metal fan." Oh God. Chris King, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, right there. He'll be opening at the Comedy Barrel. He'll be opening for Sinbad and the Amazing Jonathan next week. Don't forget, Carrot Top on Thursday. But anyway, I want to get out of here. We're going to get out of here early, and because I have to get over to the other studio at Hugs 24/7 Radio. Top 10 countdown coming up in just a few minutes. Please head over there. Hugs at Hugs 24/7 Radio. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do radio for an hour. Hugs at WRGG.com. HUGSATWRGG.com. The top 10 countdown coming up in just a few minutes. I was gonna tell a pun about paper, but it was terrible. Yeah, get it? Terrible. All right. On that note, we're gonna get out of here before Chris really lets loose. Please join me over at Hugs at 24/7 Radio. Hugs 24/7 Radio, HUGSATWRGG.com. Certainly will appreciate it. We'll see you over there. And then we'll see you back here next week. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that you do here. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. I'm going to go play radio. We out. Play!
Thank you.